Hey guys, Lisa Callaghy here to share with you a video on how to see your class diagnostic results as well as an individual student's diagnostic results on ExactPath. All right, so let's get started. Here I am on a teacher's homepage in ExactPath. And now I'm going to navigate to either math or reading depending on which subject area you'd like to see your diagnostic test results from. I'm going to choose math, and then from here I'm going to scroll down under diagnostics and choose class diagnostic results. If I needed to see reading, I could just select reading from my menu option at the top and then scroll down under diagnostics to choose class diagnostic results. Okay, so toggling back over to math, I'm going to click on class diagnostic results. Okay. There are 4 different results here that I'm going to explain to you so you have a better understanding of how your students did on the diagnostic test. Okay, so the first report that you're going to get is called the diagnostic class averages. Here, you are seeing the highest score from your class diagnostics, your lowest score from your class diagnostic, and the average score for your class on the diagnostic test. Now, what do these numbers actually mean? Well, in ExactPath, they use a diagnostic scale score. And that scale score range is from 500 being the lowest to 1500 being the highest. Now, if you need to understand what a scale score is and how it's used to produce a score for your students on the diagnostic test in ExactPath, I highly recommend that you click on this hyperlink here and read more about how they calculate the growth using the scale score and what a scale score is and how it's used within this program. This link is to a video that's very informative and it's really very short. So I highly suggest that you take a look at that so you can better understand what these scores mean for your students. Okay, moving on. The next group of information that we're going to see is the diagnostic grade level proficiency distribution. Here, you're going to see a distribution of results based upon these proficiencies. Below, approaching, meets, exceeds, and NA means a student hasn't taken the diagnostic or hasn't finished the diagnostic test yet. So for this class, you'll see that there are 7 students that fall in the below distribution or the below proficiency, approaching proficiency, and meets proficiency. Okay, that's the number of students. Now moving down, you'll see the student performance, and now you're able to see the students and the scale score. So how the scale score relates to the proficiency, the grade level distribution, proficiency level. So this scale score of 618 for this student puts that student in the below category, okay? And this scale score is the approaching category. So having this information here is helpful, especially since it's in the format of columns that can easily be sorted by clicking on any one of these arrows, either sorting from lowest to highest or highest to lowest. So you're able to group your students here based upon their grade level proficiency distribution category. Next, you'll see student growth and typical growth. Obviously, we're not going to see that currently because we've only taken one test. You will see this information fill in after the students take diagnostic test number 2. The national percentile rank for each student, the season for the national percentile rank, which is in fall, the quantile score, and then whether the text-to-speech accommodation was enabled for your students. If you're interested in learning more about the quantile score, I'll show you where to find that information at the end of the video. Okay, the last piece of information that you're going to get for your class diagnostic report or scores is the student learning path placement. So what's happening here is it's showing that each student, but now the column headers are the domains of the subject area. So this is math. So you see the different math domains, and beneath that are the grade levels that the students have landed on based upon their skill deficiencies. So for example, this student is currently in grade 1, and he's at the beginning of the school year in grade 1. And for his skills, his skill knowledge in this domain, he falls in the kindergarten grade range, which means that he has some skills that are kindergarten skills in this domain that he has not yet mastered. I will show you on the next video that I'm going to create on the student learning paths that will show you exactly what skills the student needs to improve or needs to master on this grade level in this domain. But for now, you're just able to see what grade skill level the student falls in. And what's good about this is if you're teaching a specific domain, you can easily sort and see the group of students that are either 1 or 2 grade levels below in their skill acquisition in this particular domain. So for this domain, these students that fall in kindergarten level for the skills in this domain, you have them all grouped together. And then students that either fall on, or you might even have students that are above grade level. So you can sort any one of these columns to get more information. Okay, scrolling back up, I just want to bring your attention to other metrics. So if you wanted to learn more about the quantile score and what it means, and also the estimated quantile range, you can click on Learn More here. And there are 2 links to help you understand the quantile measures and this quantile score. All right, so this has been a video on how to see your class diagnostic test results. Now I'm going to show you how to see an individual student's diagnostic test results. So scrolling down to your student list, selecting any student will now show you the individual student's diagnostic test results. So when you land on this page, you're going to land on an overview page for the individual student. It will tell you the current grade level, you're on overview, and then you can toggle here between math and reading to see the student's diagnostic test results for each one of those subject areas. So now you're seeing the scale score for the student for math and the scale score for the student for reading. These are not comparable scores, and if you watch the video on scale scores, you'll see that you can't compare reading scores to math scores on the scale score range. So also here is where you're able to reset the student's diagnostic if for some reason it needs to be reset, whether a student rushed through the test, or you notice that the student is performed way below grade level, which is not consistent with the student's performance in the class. And then you see the student's score, their scale score for the first test window. Okay, tabbing over, I'm going to switch to reading now. And for some reason it lands on testing window 1. We're going to tap over testing window 3. We're going to tap over to testing window 1 to get our results. So the first result we're going to see is the student's national percentile rank and where they fall. Learning more about that, clicking up here on Learn More. Next is the reading test window experience. If you want to learn more about this, you can click on Learn More, but I'm just going to give you a quick overview. The diagnostic scale score is here. Again, always using that scale score range. This is going to show you all of the students' correct and incorrect answers to the questions on the diagnostic test. When you hover your mouse over each one of these circles, it's going to give you more information. For example, hovering my mouse on this first question, it's called item number 1. The domain that the question came from was reading literature. The student spent 55 seconds on this question, answered the question incorrect, and the skill grade of this question came from kindergarten. Next, the algorithm for the diagnostic test posed item number 2 from domain, language, and vocabulary. Here, it shows, again, the same information, so you can hover your mouse over and get the information that you might help you understand how the students resulted on their test, especially the grade level and their skill deficiencies. Below that, it tells you how many sessions they took to complete the assessment, how many items, the start date and time, the end date and time, and how long it took them to finish this assessment. Below that, you'll see the testing window domain details. So here it shows you the skills, the domain and skills that the student was faced with in their diagnostic test. And if you need to learn more, you can click on Learn More. But if you expand all here, you're able to see specific skills that the questions were taken from or that were asked. And you could see the skill grade level, and you could see how many questions were asked and how many the student got correct. So for example, the first reading foundations domain, the individual sounds in words was the skill the question came from. The skill grade was kindergarten. The student had 2 questions from that particular domain and skill group and answered none of them correct. Okay? And you could scroll down and see more information. You could come up and click on print, and that will help you print out any of this information that you might need for either parent-teacher conferences or support service meetings with the student and the parents. Okay, so this has been a video on the diagnostic test results for a whole entire class and individual students on ExactPath. All right, guys, I hope this helped. Have a great day.